Yeah, I mean, Liquid's like, oh yeah, this is a good raid tier, and it's true, it is, but it's actually like a really good raid tier for them, right? Because like I said, they're a sprint kind of guild. Like Liquid has always been a sprint guild. If they can get to the finish line within like 3 or 4 days, and get to that last boss by day 4 or 5, like they're gonna take it almost every time. And like I said, Max calling the stream and shutting everything down. I think that was beautiful. I think that was like I said, that was the call of the entire race. Like if there was like a managerial coach kind of call, that was the call to make. Whether it upset sponsors or whoever, they didn't care because now they're the champs. And if those sponsors don't like it, they can write off and they'll get other sponsors. And if those sponsors don't like it, they can off and they'll get some more sponsors. When you're the champs, you get whoever you want, bro. They line up to sign up for your Yeah, I read about mirrors yesterday. I mean, to be fair, man, like I think after every race, there's always like a group of people that are just like, you know what, we're done, or I'm done, or it's done, or whatever. It's always gonna happen. I mean, I looked at that Echo raid yesterday and Echo throughout splits. Even like Liquid, I'm like, yo, I don't recognize half these players, bro, from like the last race, because they're always changing. People always quitting. Some teams lose and then they retire. Some people win and they retire. They win and they're like, well, I'm done. Why are you done? Because we won. I ain't got nothing else to do. I wanted one. Here's worked his ass off tanking on that Brewmaster. Yeah, but man, he sure died a lot, man, compared to Liquid tanks. I don't know. I think they had all kinds of issues. Like their was strategic. They had problems. There's no way. Like I said, Liquid showed up 6 a.m, shocked the out of Echo. They had no idea what was going on. You could watch them too. You could see it in their eyes, bro. Like Echo was just looking to the side at the other monitor to see what the going on, and I think they were just shook. I've never seen them shook like that before, but they look shook to me. Making mistakes, people dying. I mean, they were basically like phase 1 of like when Liquid was doing Razageth, where they were just dying in phase 1 like 15 million times, and Echo just said, haha, we can't die in phase 1 because we can do this phase better than you can. Like they would go into every phase 2 with like no battle reses, people dead. They just weren't playing good, right? I mean, that's what it boils down to. They just weren't playing good. Echo was not playing like Echo plays. Well, yeah, Max feels happy. That's his first win as Liquid. Like I said, they've never won as Liquid, so I mean, having that first win is a big deal. That's a trophy in the Liquid trophy case at their headquarters. It doesn't matter how many times you won as Limit. It matters how many times you won as Liquid, which is a company that acquired your guild. You got to make sure that you're performing. So they're what, like out of 4 raids they've won 1. Not bad for NA, I say. I mean, they've had some pretty bad tiers, man. Sepulcher was really bad with them having to leaving early and shit and all this stuff, and last raid tier was a huge downer. So they definitely needed a win. They definitely needed a win, and they got a win. So they're gonna decide who won the race based on start time? No, nobody's gonna do that. They were fucking memeing yesterday just to get a rise out of the community. Ain't nobody looking at time. Stop it. Please stop it. That's never happened in the past. It'll never happen in the future. Okay, it's just like Echo viewers just trying to like find some sort of like closure and copium within themselves this morning. That's all it is. I mean, look, the launch date of a tier only matters when NA wins and EU loses, right? That's it. That's the only time it matters. Like, yeah, we talk about it, and but it's usually like a 2-hour conversation, and it's usually over after that because EU won, because EU is technically supposed to win. Like I always say, everyone has to brace themselves whenever NA wins a race to world first, because that's when all the other conversations have to be amplified. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm pro global release. It should be global release every single time. Blizzard should find a way to do it, just regardless, not just for 2 guilds, but for the entire player base. Find a way to find a maintenance schedule that works in WoW, and just have everyone start at the same time. Sure, why not? Like every other game fucking does it, right? Like, why can't WoW? Yeah, I mean, that 10 to 12 hour advantage is definitely good, but I think once you factor in like maintenances and people have done the math so many times. Like people have done like the sleep schedule, one guild versus the other, who got 2 or 3 more hours worth of sleep. So by the time it's like day 5, people are like, all right, based on sleep hours and based on breaks and time off and maintenance for one, region over the other, blah, blah, blah. One is doing this while the other one's doing that. The time is basically evened out. The problem is, like, 12-year-old viewers of the Race to World First who are fanatical fucking followers of Echo or Liquid don't really know any of that shit. They just scream and shout when, they don't want to hear, when they don't want to hear what they should be hearing. But yeah, I mean, like, I think going forward, if Blizzard's goal is, okay, well, this is going to be the tuning of our raids in the future. It's going to be tuned more toward, like, everybody. And, we're still going to give the top guilds in the world a challenge, but nothing that's going to last, like, 2 weeks. Something that's going to last maybe within a reset. If the goal is boss dead within a reset, then you should probably go with a global release, because then for sure, I think for the first 2 or 3 days of the race, it's always going to put EU at a disadvantage until they all catch up to each other later. But I still don't see why they can't just make it happen. Sometimes, to me, I feel like the race isn't even really determined in the last fights of the raid. I feel like sometimes the race is determined in the first 2 or 3 days of splits. Like which guild gets, lucky rare loot, which guild doesn't, which guild is able to get full tier 4 at the highest hero crest level, which one doesn't, right? Like sometimes all that shit going into a raid tier kind of fucking matters. I mean, there was a lot of DPS checks, and these guilds went in there full blown 4-piece with best in slot gear, with tertiary stats from Vault of the Incarnates. Which goes to show, I mean, it does kind of, I mean, I know like Echo does their weekly raids, but I don't know, I feel like Liquid just did a lot of like Vault of the Incarnates and Season 1 farming to make sure they had the best possible gear plus the current possible gear for this raid. But at the end of the day, man, look, Echo just played sloppy on that last boss. They were very sloppy. They looked lost. They looked confused. If they had a strategy, they sure as hell wasn't following it, because they were having deaths left and right. It was just like not Echo. It was like an un-Echo-like performance on that boss. Because even when Echo is behind, even when Echo has lost to limit, they were still always looking good and always executing. They were always close, right? They weren't like that far off. They were like in La La Land for this last encounter. They were off in space. They were somewhere else. They were shook. They were confused. They were all kinds of like looking at different monitors and cameras, and like they looked completely like surprised, and it just felt weird looking at them like that. And where the fuck was Tobo, bro? Just saying, where the fuck was Tobo? Tobo out there slaving away at BOEs and Mythic Plus. It just bought in Tobo, dude. No. Liquid played better because Liquid formulated a really good strategy off stream, and they did, and they mathed everything out perfectly, right? Because they went to bed at 38%. They woke up to surprise Echo at 14.4. That's what shook Echo, because Echo was like at 40%, and we're talking about them being at 14.4, which means that time off stream, those 27 attempts that they did sub 38%. They got a lot of good info out of it, and they got a lot of good strategy. And when Echo got to 30%, 35%, you know what they didn't have? It felt like they didn't have strategy. It felt like they had nothing to go by, in that kind of situation. It felt like they had nothing going. And you know what? Guilds do copy each other. Liquid copies Echo. Echo copies Liquid. It goes back and forth. Depends on who gets to the last boss first. Why? Because when the first guild gets to a boss, the other one's already sleeping, you can formulate a strategy and then start executing it. Except this time, Liquid decided just not to stream it. And there's no gentleman's agreement that, that you have to stream your strategy to the other guild, right? Like, not really a thing. Yeah, like Liquid had such a clean sub 35% progression on that fight. And Echo, I mean, dude, to be fair, Echo was having troubles at 60%, at 50%, at 40%. They just had random deaths, like really silly deaths. And the tank deaths were literally insane. Like, I've never seen Mears die so much in a Race to World First as much as he did. He got fucking smoked. Then later on, toward like, you know, the sub 30%, Andy got his ass handed to him a bunch of times. Like, dude, tanks, oh my God. It's almost like the strategy was for healers not to heal tanks and let them fend for themselves with their self-sustain or something. It was really fucking weird to witness that shit. Once Liquid showed up at 6 in the morning, 6 hours earlier than normal, barely getting enough sleep from the night before, because they did 27 pulls off stream, coming in at 14.4%. Echo was not Echo anymore. Echo literally started shotgun pulling, which they don't fucking do. When the fuck has Echo ever pulled back to back to back to back to back to back to back like they did? Never. Why? Because they were fucking scared, bro. They were worried as hell. They were like, if we don't pull and catch up in percentage and see the rest of these phases and formulate a strategy, we're gonna fucking lose. And they did. They lost. Like, that's just what it is. Yeah, they were literally in shambles. It kind of reminds me of when Rocky fucking hit Dolph Lundgren in the eye and made him bleed. And then they found out he was fucking human, you know? Like, that's what it felt like. It felt like Liquid punched Echo in the fucking face, slapped their big dick on their forehead, and said, "You're human." Yeah, I've never seen Echo shook like that before. It's kind of crazy. So it's time for teams to go back to not streaming the Race to Wolf first? I don't think so. No, they're going to stream it for sure. I mean, it's not like Liquid did not stream the kill. Liquid streamed the last, like, 40 attempts for everybody and the kill. How could anyone be mad that they went off stream for not even the kill attempts, man? They went off stream to formulate. Yeah, like I said, I mean, I think Max made a banger of a calling it. In his mind, he had a couple of choices. He's like, hear the fucking bitching from viewers and people about them, you know, shutting off the stream or them winning. And he decided that they want to win. He said it in his fucking, in that VOD clip. He says, I don't give a fuck. He goes, we're here to win. That's what they did. They won. But race is over. Diablo 4 in 2 weeks. Who gives a shit? I can't tell if Method is just like inting right now, or if they are just like having these 1%, 5% wipes, and then like 10 wipes in between the good attempts. I mean, they're doing good right now. This is shaping up to be a pretty good attempt. Battle res is available. I can't see that on the screen, but I mean, everyone is alive. Everyone's alive. If they just drop these off, come back up, survive the fucking blast and the knockback, I think this is the kill. Let me listen in.
Massive. They have been able to get 17% left on the boss now. This is a massive, massive push for Method right now. They do have this really nasty overlap. Out goes the player, obviously, for the sacrifice. They are going to sacrifice themselves. They're immediately going to be battle res. The Kingston Fury battle res will go off. We're going to
dude, this is good.
To next POV here. Take a look.
Obviously, big personals
has gone off. We're 12%.
No.
Everybody needs to set themselves up now. We need to get through this really nasty crossover. We have, it looks like, unfortunately, I'm trying to see who that is that we've lost.
It's Red Paladin.
So yeah, that's not the end of the world though. We can still break through this. Everybody dropping down into this second phase.
Oh, they might come back up and kill this shit, boys.
Quep's camera. He is getting
drop this shit off.
Of these. He's getting
come back upstairs. Come back early. Fuck the buff, dude.
As he leaves. Obviously, as
he does have to wait. He does have to wait.
They are going to absolutely blast the boss. 10% left here. They have around about 40 seconds left, and this is all nuke. They need.
Oh, they're going to nuke this shit.
Everybody in.
World third ink, boys.
Everything you can possibly send.
Oh,
right
get
now.
the fuck away! Move the boss! Move the boss!
People are knocked back. We've only still lost 2 players. They are going to be pumping. We are sub 5% left on the boss here. This is huge. We have 20 seconds left. They are potentially going to take it here. Sub 2%. Everybody left alive. They are pummeling everything they possibly can into this boss.
Yeah.
And here it comes. There is the world third for Method. They've managed to take it.
Method.
The same reset as both Liquid and Echo.
Let's go.
The building continues. That is what we love to see. That is huge, ladies and gentlemen. What a pull from the team there. What an absolute pull. Let's see if we can quickly switch, obviously, to the camera, to the microphones here. My word, my word. Woo, what a kill. Do you want to come with me and see the Raiders? Let's go and do it. Oh, hang on, I need to
see the Raiders.
Oh, you can do
yeah, that was pretty good. Yeah, I couldn't be online yesterday for the first 2 kills.
Follow me.
That's not bad. World 3rd pre-reset is actually pretty impressive, I think, for any guild.
Much they've done. Everybody is absolutely ecstatic.
This was a GM. Dude, hold on. Mr. GM on his phone, not giving a shit about what just happened. Probably tweeting out some update from the PTR right now, I'm pretty sure.
How do you feel?
Mr. GM gives no fucks. He's updating like the latest quest line on a PTR from the Mega Dungeon.
That's the big one.
Or whatever.
Hello to everybody.
Texting his wife, I'm coming home, babe. This bullshit's over. Let's get out of here.